Here are today's top stories. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. hails the Philippine Coast Guard for proving people's continued trust in the government. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. highlights the Philippines' efforts to reshape its defense ecosystem to respond emerging threats to the international order. Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office delivers 71 patients transport vehicles to local government units in Caraga region. The Department of Migrant Workers deepened its collaboration with Hungarian partners and the Philippines Embassy in Hungarian to strengthen the protection and mobility of overseas Filipino workers. And in part 1 of today's PNA Talks, we put a spotlight on the state of the mental health in the Philippines and how Filipinos can be mindful of their mental health. This is the PNA Headlines. I am John Dalistan. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. lauded Philippine Coast Guard or PCG for proving government is still trusted by the people as he joined the celebration of its 124th anniversary on Thursday. In his speech during the event at Pier 15 Manila, Marcos commended Coast Guard for showing excellence, integrity, and discipline in times when people's trust in the government is shaken. He highlighted the Coast Guard's disaster response and rescue operations, its commitment in protecting the West Philippine Sea, ensuring of safe passage for almost 10 million passengers, and confiscation of nearly 2 billion pesos worth of illegal drugs and smuggled goods. Marcos vowed continued support for PCG by investing in new vessels, aircraft, equipment, and facilities such as the PCG General Hospital and the Maritime Law Enforcement Training Center. Meantime, he said administration continues to strengthen transparency and accountability. During the event, also attended by First Lady and PCG Reservist Liza Araneta Marcos, the President conferred the PCG Anniversary Awards to 16 outstanding recipients for their dedication, professionalism, and exemplary performance.
In these times when our seas face greater challenges, you remain steadfast, proving that courage knows no tides and that service knows no bounds. You stand as guardians of safety and of stability. And in return, I assure you that this government is solidly behind you. Whenever our people see you during rescue missions or in your day-to-day patrols, what they see is that the government is still working diligently and is worthy of their trust. Truly, the sea offers no defined path. It shifts and tests your steadiness. But I believe it also rewards those who stay the course and remain true to their mission. For each time you sail, you remind the world that the Philippines will always protect what is ours.
Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. says the Philippines is reshaping its defense to be more capable and resilient against modern threats. In his speech before members of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines in Makati City on Thursday, Teodoro said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has instructed the defense sector to reshape its ecosystem into a multi-threat, multi-domain system. He said with Philippines as the spearhead of threats to international order, such as the West Philippine Sea issue, the Department of National Defense is building internal defense resilience and expanding strategic ties with like-minded nations such as France, the United States, and Canada. Teodoro also stressed the need to reform the country's defense acquisition and funding systems as he called for greater transparency, trust, and shared growth in defense industrial development. He said the DND would prioritize the development of strategic bases and adopt government-to-government arrangement for procurements and production. He noted that achieving defense self-reliance will depend on reliable, diversified, and secure supply chains aligned with the Philippines' interest. The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO has turned over 71 new patient transport vehicles or PTVs to Caraga region as it echoed the government's commitment to improve healthcare access for Filipinos. More on this from RB Abaracoso.
The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office reaffirmed the government's mission to bring healthcare closer to people, with a turnover of 71 new patient transport vehicles or PTVs to local government units across the Caraga region.
Ngayong araw magaganap ang pagdidistribute ng PCSO ng 71 Patient Transport Vehicles or PTVs. And of course, this is the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to bring healthcare closer to every Filipino.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the ceremony with PCSO General Manager Milquiades Robles in Butuan City. Each PTB has basic medical and first aid equipment as well as emergency tools such as fire extinguishers and oxygen tanks. Robles had said that each unit acts as a lifeline for communities in Caraga that ensure safe and timely transport to hospitals in times of emergencies. He also thanked Marcos for his presence and support for the government's continued pursuit of universal healthcare for the Filipino people.
We have 71 for Butuan, and this is a continuing releases of our President and our General Manager from everyone. Para kami na lumalapit para mas mabilis na ma-distribute itong ating patient transport vehicle.
Robles also led the ceremonial turnover of 158 PTBs in Kadipawan City, North Cotabato. This brings the nationwide total of distributed PTBs to 1,540 units, benefiting nearly 89% of the country's cities and municipalities. For 2025, PCSO has earned mark 1 billion pesos to procure 395 additional vehicles. The PCSO PTB program is part of the agency's mandate to uphold compassion in service for all Filipinos by enhancing healthcare delivery to reach even far-flung and underserved communities. The agency is targeting 100% PTB coverage by the end of the year, aligning with President Marcos' vision for a more responsive and exclusive healthcare system. For Pna Headlines, I am RB Abaracoso.
The Department of Migrant Workers or DMW has deepened its collaboration with Hungarian partners and the Philippine Embassy to Hungary to strengthen the protection, welfare, and labor mobility of overseas Filipino workers in Hungary and neighboring countries. In a news release on Thursday, Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said a courtesy visit to Philippine Ambassador to Hungary, Maria Elena Algabre, reaffirmed the government's one-country team approach in delivering services to OFWs abroad. Kakdak expressed his gratitude for the embassy's strong partnership and proactive coordination in addressing needs of Filipino workers. In turn, Ambassador Algabre reassured their dedication in working closely with the DMW and other agencies. After the courtesy call, Kakdak also met with representatives of the Association for Central European Employment of Overseas Filipino Workers or ACE and tackled ways to improve ethical recruitment, strengthening worker welfare, and expand opportunities. Collaboration will also be done for Hungarian and Filipino coordinators for ACE members companies involved in recruitment, deployment, and welfare support for OFWs. Kakdak said this engagement demonstrated the DMW's continued commitment to forging strategic partnership and promote ethical, transparent, and sustainable employment practices that uphold Filipino workers' dignity. In our business news, a 11.4 million pesos warehouse with solar dryer was turned over to local government units of Bantar, Ilocos Norte to improve of farmers' productivity and reduce post-harvest losses. The 128 square meter warehouse with 432 square meter solar dryer funded through a collaboration between the World Bank, the Department of Agriculture, and the local government unit of Bantar. In an interview, Bantar Municipal Agriculturist Maricel Serrano said the full utilization of the warehouse is expected early next year for the harvest season. She added that their farmers are now preparing for planting season this November, wherein the expected harvest is by February next year. According to the project brief, the warehouse project to increase the length of viability of produce by at least 50% and decrease post-harvest losses by 5%. The DA also estimates the farmers will be able to increase their selling price by 17.42 to 127.27% by having a structurally safe storage and dryer for agricultural products during harvest season. Meanwhile, Maya Philippines Incorporated launched a new feature called Maya Stocks, which allow users to participate in initial public offerings or IPOs through the Maya app. In a statement, the e-wallet platform said Maya Stocks allows upgrade users to open and fund a brokerage account in a minute and view available IPOs directly within their app. IPO subscription are completed through participating brokers platform, while Mayas provides a secure and convenient channel for account opening and funding. The feature goes live in the time for Maynilad's IPO offer period from October 23 to 29 and will continue to be available for other company IPOs through Maya's partner brokers. The Maynilad IPO can be accessed via participating brokers on Maya Stocks. Maya said the launch of Maya Stocks is part of its push to expand access to essential financial tools and bring more Filipinos into the formal financial system. And in part 1 of today's PNA Talks, we put a spotlight on the state of the mental health in the Philippines and how Filipinos can be mindful of their mental health.
Hello po sa lahat. Ako po si Novi Grace Duquilia. Ako po ay isang clinical psychologist at ako po ay 7 taon na nagpa-practice as a clinical psychologist. Ang mental health ay tumutukoy sa ating kalusugang pangkaisipan. At ang pagkakaroon ng mental health ay related sa ating state of well-being, kung saan tayo ay nagkakaroon ng abilidad para ma-cope yung mga pang-araw-araw na stress sa buhay at para ma-realize natin kung ano yung potential natin. So, ang pinaka-common na tinatanong ng mga tao, ano po bang pinagkaiba ng isang psychologist at psychiatrist? Ang psychologist ay sila yung responsible sa assessment, diagnosis, and treatment of mental health conditions. The same thing then when it comes to psychiatrists. Psychiatrists can also administer tests, they can also diagnose, they can also provide treatment. However, yung pinagkaiba nila is yung mga psychiatrists, sila yung responsible na pagdating sa medical intervention or yung pagpe-prescribe ng medication para sa mga taong nakakaranas ng mga mental health issues. Pag sinabi nating nature, ibig sabihin ito yung mga biological reasons, kagaya ng genetics, kasi yung mga mental health conditions pwede siyang mamana, kagaya ng bipolar disorder, depression, and schizophrenia. Biological as well, kapag nagkaroon ng brain injury yung tao, maaari din siyang makadevelop ng other mental health conditions. Another example ay yung mga neurodevelopmental disorders. These are considered na biological yung influence niya. Nurture naman, pag sinabing nurture, ibig sabihin yung cause niya ay environment. Example nito ay yung mga adverse life events natin, kagaya ng poverty, exposure to abuse, or traumatic experiences. Pwede kasi yung isang tao, genetically predisposed siya na magkaroon ng mental health condition. Meron siyang genes for that. And then, yung environment niya naka-trigger para malabas yung phenotype na yon. So, according to research, yung mental health quotient ng mga Pinoy nag-decline or bumagsak from 78 mental health quotient or MHQ to 68 MHQ since last year. So, ibig sabihin nun, may pagbaba when it comes to the mental health of the Filipino people. Top 2, you have depression and anxiety. Bakit itong anxiety disorders and depression yung common sa mga Pinoy? Because according to research, yung mga tao daw na meron silang negative perception about their environment are more likely to develop depression and anxiety disorders. Pinaka-reason is yung stigma. Ang stigma ay nabubuo dahil sa kakulangan sa pag-unawa at kaalaman patungkol sa mental health. Ang effect ng stigma, nagkakaroon tayo ng negative attitude sa mga taong merong mental health issues at nagkakaroon din ng discrimination sa kanila. Kung ikukumpara natin sa mga unang panahon, makikita natin na may improvement na din talaga when it comes to mental health awareness yung mga Pinoy. And along with the increased knowledge about mental health awareness, nababawasan din yung stigma kasi nagkakaroon ng pag-uunawa at kaalaman tungkol sa mga ganitong kondisyon.
And those are the latest and biggest stories from the PNA Headlines. For more news update, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. Stay with us for more news updates and 62 days before Christmas. Kindness will be the best gift for this season. I am John Dalistan. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.